Hello, my name is Daniel Graham, and I'm going to introduce you to my honors project for the front-end bootcamp course, the Salty Snack Sales Tool. Inspired by my day job, the Salty Snack Sales Tool is a clean, straight-to-the-point, easy-to-use example of a React tool meant to aid a snack product salesperson sell for a point-of-sale display on the floor or shelf of a grocery store, determining product needs to build it, potential sales numbers, and to be able to share it with store managers to sell the display in. To use the app, basically on the left-hand side here, the salesperson can select a type of product they wish to sell in. It will dynamically change the options for the display windows. As they select their options, it will build a visual preview of what they're looking at for the display, as well as calculate the retail cost of the display. As they build it, they can also go back in and select a different product type if they need to change the display on the fly, as well as switch to a larger display, a 5-shelf display, so they can build a display that fits their needs in the moment. Once they have their display built, on the right-hand side here, they can enter in the margin or profit per bag for the store. Once they enter in the margins, then the app will dynamically calculate the profit and the setup cost. And using that, they can hit the little enable sales mode toggle here to switch to a very visually appealing display of the display that they're looking to sell into a manager. So they can present this to the store manager and give an easy to view example of the display they're building, as well as the store profit and cost that the manager is looking at. As far as the code for this app, I started off with Figma to build a very basic visual example of what I wanted to build. And then after that, I got down to coding in Visual Studio Code. It's a pretty basic app, basically built on React and React Bootstrap, a little bit of JavaScript to power the math and some of the display toggles. From there, we have a database of the products, which is an object with arrays for each product type. And then we have a main component that has 2 child components tied into it. The main component holds the state information for the rows, as well as the display toggles on the app. From there, it passes that information down to the first child, the drop-down component. The drop-down component is that left-hand side of the app, which holds all the product selection options. It uses an initial selection, basically to select the product type. Once you do that, then it maps that selection to the other drop-downs to dynamically pick the flavor options for each product. Once the selections have been made, the options are passed back into the main component, and then it uses that to dynamically change the images on the center component of the app. And then that information is also passed back down into the math component, which is the right-hand side of the app. The math component then takes and assigns the typed-in values for margins, and then uses some JavaScript and math to display all the math calculations for the salesperson. The major challenges of this project were down to implementing some of the JavaScript into the React app to dynamically link one drop-down to the others. So that basically is pulling the drop-down selection of the product type and using that to pull the exact array out of the object in the database. And then it also took a little bit of review of JavaScript to do some of the math calculations and to split some of the information that the drop-downs were pulling the database information from. Basically, to solve the challenges, I reviewed the JavaScript from Nucamp courses as well as from W3 schools, and took some inspiration from Stack Overflow to help implement some of these things. In summary here, I used a React to build a very simple, effective and visually appealing tool for a salesperson to sell on a display. Thank you for taking a look at the project with me today.